We're three best friends, and we love Lost, and we love talking, but even more so, we love talking about Lost. So join us for some laughs, good conversation, and let's get lost together. Yo.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Let's Get Lost with your hosts, Kip,
Yeah.
Teresa,
Yo,
and myself, Amanda. And if you think we sound fun and funny,
Fun, and
it's
funny.
because we just watched the first part of the 3-part finale and then took a shot.
fireball.
We had to. It was just intense.
It was so intense.
Lots of crying, lots of emotions flying around.
Lots of
And
Jesus.
holy hell, we're going to obviously go through it like we do, because if you're listening, you've probably heard us do this before. But before we do, I just want to say that this episode is what Lost is made for. Yeah, so let's get right
good.
into it. We don't want to waste a single second because these episodes are freaking packed with shit. So Teresa, what is Exodus Part 1 all about?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Amanda. Exodus Part 1 was written by Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse, directed by Kipper's favorite Jack Bender.
Love him.
Danielle Rousseau surprises the castaways by showing up at the camp with an ominous warning. The others are coming. The raft finally sets sail with Michael, Walt, Jin, and Sawyer on board. As they depart, Black Smoke mysteriously appears from the other side of the island, a harbinger of the imminent arrival of the others. Did I say that wrong?
Harbinger.
Harbinger?
I think Harbinger.
I think it's Harbinger. Harbinger of...
No, I think you have to do the J.
Like a harbinger.
No, Harbinger.
I thought it was harbinger. Well, my English is not the best, so Google, where you at?
How do you say Harbinger?
Your Honor, that's leading the witness.
How do you say Harbinger?
That's pronounced Harbinger.
Okay, well...
She has an
I'm
accent.
sorry.
Harbinger.
Okay.
But like...
How do you pronounce Harbinger?
That's pronounced Harbinger.
Oh,
She's
okay.
British, though, that's why. Harbinger.
Okay, you know what, Kip? I'm so sorry.
Let me. As they depart, Black Smoke mysteriously appears from the other side of the island, a harbinger of the imminent arrival of the others.
That's right. Very ominous. Like, holy shit. All right, I'll give you a few facts.
Let's hear some facts.
All right, as you know, we are on day 44 on the island. There must have been some primo marketing because we went up over 1 million viewers this week from last. What's going on, Teresa?
It's 25 because on the Blu-ray, the Exodus Part 2 appears in 2 parts, but it's actually only 24 episodes.
Oh.
Yes, we have talked about this.
Then why did he just say, oh, clearly not?
Okay, easy, folks, easy.
Anyway, so the reality is they probably did market the shit out of it being the finale.
Yeah,
So that makes
exactly.
sense.
Heck yeah, brother.
Yeah, because over 1 million new viewers, 18.62 million as from like 17.1. IMDb, any guesses?
Oh, like pushing 9, like 8.9.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna say 9.1.
9 even. 9 out of 10. That happened last time you guys
Yeah.
were on either side of the right answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't keep track of any Sawyer nicknames. I don't know if I heard any.
I think Sawyer was actually like a little bit more on, like just being like a all around good guy this episode.
Yeah, he was decent. And I have no trivia because I just want to start talking.
I know. I think the finales we're going to always treat with a little bit more, I don't know, dignity and grace.
Importance.
Yes. Some gravitas, if you will.
Gravitas, yes.
So let's get, but there's one thing we can never do without, and that is
Teresa's stream of consciousness.
Also, oh no, a Walt episode. Ah, crap, kid, that's so loud. Walt is such a shit right now. I'm surprised they didn't make any kind of designated bathroom area on the island, to be honest. Maybe Rousseau, we don't do that. You know, Walt, you're not that far from her. Also, you're hiding behind a pole. You guys didn't make any kind of perimeter to signal when people come to your base camp? Cool. I'm sorry, everyone. This lady's got a gun. Maybe run. Oh, I'm sorry, Russo. Fighting back is not an option? Good to know. Oh, look at them actually work together. Oh my God, Jack's arms. You know what, music? Don't manipulate me into feeling like this is a momentous occasion. You see what I mean? If it breaks apart when you move it, do not sail this thing. Oh, shit, there's the smoke. Oh, he's divorced from the awkward vows lady. Oh, 23, 42. Oh, okay, wait, it's an everyone episode. I'm sorry, but blowing stuff up isn't really a plan. It sounds more like a suicide mission. I would trust Jen here. James Ford. Oh, that's his name. You know, it sucks to be banned from Australia, though. Holy God. Wow. Wow. Wow, it's Battle of the Biceps today. Dem penis point is still. You know, I'm glad that Jack gave him a gun for the trip. Oh my God, Jack's face right now. Jack's fucking face. I can't. Sawyer, I'm so glad you told him. I'm so glad. Because, you know, Sawyer couldn't make that up. He didn't know any deets about his dad. Fucking beautiful moment between the two. They're both taking care of each other. You know, that's the question I had, sir. Why 5 guns? Seems like a lot. You know, I forgot what a douche the marshal was. Oh, so that was a few years ago that Tom died. Oh, so the marshal had the plane. Okay. Okay, so this message in a bottle thing is so cute. Oh my God, Jen, I love a vascular man. Now you care about Sawyer Kate. Really? Really? Well, look, a different terrain on the island. How fun. Does anybody else find it interesting that they all walk in a line instead of 2 or 3 abreast? Arst. What's his first name anyway? Oh, Leslie. Leslie's fine. It's much easier. God, I love that Hurley knows everyone's name. I mean, I guess now they can't really walk in multiple since it's a small path through this dark territory. I'm sorry. Lost his arm? What? Leslie, do you even know how to get back? Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow, he's sweaty. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, hell no. Did we all forget about the goddamn monster? I'm sorry. The monster is a security system to protect the island. How do you know that? You know, without Russo, this would be so much more terrifying. Should I give her points this week? Why is Walt actually a good kid? He's actually not that bad. He was just a douche to the guy that, you know, took him from his home and didn't really give him that much information other than, I'm your father, listen to me. Like, he's so sweet. You know, this is probably one of a handful of times I've ever cried on this show. Oh, I see. So Saeed and Shannon interacted before they met. Shannon, did you leave a bag? Oh, I'm sorry, Shannon. You're an asshole. That's what it is. I don't know why this proves anything other than you're an ass face. So, good job. Saeed did them good, though. Look at all that stuff. Man, the Black Rock is creepy. And wow, those people are so rude. Also, you don't know that they don't speak English, man. What a dick. Oh my God. Jin and Sun, I cannot. Lord, help me with these two. I can't. Their love. Where's my Jin? Not the possessive one, you know, who is mean and hurt people, but like this one. These two. Excuse me, Lost. Please stop with the music. We all know they're going to die out there. But they all love each other, which is beautiful. Oh my God, he wants to say bye to Kate, and she wanted to say bye to him. Serve her. Serve her. Push. Oh my God, did anyone else notice that Saeed has that belly button hole in his shirt?
I did.
Oh my God, Vincent. Why did we show this at the end? Well, that ruined it. Okay.
Yes, I did notice the belly button hole.
It's very, like, it's really right there.
I did not.
Really?
It's literally right where his belly button would be. Just a hole.
That makes sense, I guess.
Does it?
And
Does he have an outing?
I didn't see the belly button.
I didn't either, just the belly button hole.
Oh, I don't even. Okay, so where do
I think we just have to kind of take it. This is one where I think you just kind of have to go. We have to sweep through it kind of moment by moment because there is just so much happening. It is so emotional. And I said it in the intro and I'll say it again. To me, this is what Lost. When people are... Okay. Anyone listening to this, other than people who are only listening to it because they love us. Anyone who's listening to this because they have any sort of interest or connection to Lost knows that this is a very controversial show.
Yes.
To me, and I get asked often why I like it. And the answer I always give people is that it's very emotional and it's very beautiful. And to me, this episode is exactly why. This is Lost at its best in my mind.
Very peak Lost.
But it's not your favorite episode of the season, just to be clear.
No, it's not
But
necessarily.
this is what Lost is.
But it's just because there's
separate the
lots
two.
like this.
No,
there's
I'm
there's
just
lots of episodes
clarifying.
like this. But when people are like, oh, they don't answer all the questions or, oh, they do this. And I'm like, to me, that doesn't matter as much as the fact that it's so emotionally resonant.
So let me just tell you a quick little story. All right. Yesterday. So depending on when you're listening to this, right now it is around the holiday time in the world. And I was at a holiday gathering and someone asked, did you take up any COVID projects? Someone I hadn't seen in probably since well before COVID. And I was like, no, not really. And Dan said, well, no, you started a podcast. He's like, whoa, cool. What's the podcast on? So I said Lost and the TV show Lost with a couple friends. And he goes, oh yeah, no, if I ever watch the show, I'll definitely listen. But I heard it really sort of tanked at the end there. And that's such a prevailing conception out there that Lost really lost its way towards the end. And it really bugs me.
Me too. A lot. And what I would like to say to add on to that is if you like the way this episode, Exodus Part 1, makes you feel,
Yeah.
you will absolutely love Lost until the end.
You absolutely should.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Lost is more about these relationships and how people support each other and how people come together for each other than it is like, where did that polar bear come from?
Exactly.
Okay. At least to us. And that's why we're here. So this episode is very meaningful to me. Is it probably the most like exciting one or something like that? No, but it's very, very poignant for a lot of little reasons.
There's like so many character moments, so many special moments between two characters that really are powerful and impactful. And like you say, that's what Lost has always been about. It's just the characters and the driving force of the characters, who makes them, what makes them.
And we get a prime example of that just right from the beginning. So we start off with Walt and Michael in the hotel room, clearly before they're about to get on the plane to come to where they are now. They're arguing, they're fighting. Walt's running away from him. Michael's dragging him back, kicking and screaming. Someone's trying to interfere. And then that's completely just then cross-referenced to them on the island sleeping next to each other.
Yeah.
And in 44 short days, they've come so far. And it's already to me like just like that when you go from that very intense kind of unsettling for word Tracy's last episode scene to this like just the flash to them peacefully sleeping next to each other on the beach, my heart literally fluttered. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
Because you're right. All you can do is think about these last days where they've really turned a corner and seeing that journey between Michael and Walt, that them in the hotel wasn't that different from them on the first few weeks on the island and to where they are now. Like, it's pretty amazing to see that happen. And they did it in a good job.
100%. That's quickly contrasted with the most terrifying scene of Daniel Rousseau just like stalking their camp.
I didn't find it terrifying.
Oh, I did.
I thought, okay, I thought it was kind of funny because like she wouldn't know how to approach a group of people. She knows they're there somewhere because Saeed said, but like it was just so awkward. Just her like kind of like, hey, I'm here to tell you something, but I'm creepy and skulking around trees holding a gun. Like,
Yeah.
And Walt trying to hide behind that pole. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, my God.
And also I agree. Like this is the first time we've ever seen someone going to the washroom.
Yeah.
And he's just being on a tree randomly in the camp next to people sleeping.
I mean,
Like you'd
you'd think they'd have an area, like a designated washroom.
Also, you'd think after the whole Ethan thing, they'd again set up some kind of perimeter.
That's true, yeah,
to
totally.
signal them that someone has come.
Yeah.
Because we know that there are others.
They got very complacent very quick.
Yeah, they're like, it's fine. We're all here.
Yeah.
So Danielle Rousseau is back. She's a very interesting character. The actress, unfortunately, who's passed away in real life, and whose name is escaping me, I apologize.
Myra Furlan.
Mira Furlan.
Mira Furlan, I'm pretty sure.
Such a phenomenal actress in this role. Her emotions are so clearly on her face at all times. And when she sees Claire holding the baby,
Brutal.
just really
Rough.
And just like she's lost in that moment, and it takes Saeed sort of like saying her name multiple times, to get her out of that. That was powerful.
Like, it's very sweet that Charlie steps kind of in front of Claire. Like, it's these little kind of moments that we've been building to this whole season where everyone is clearly feeling so much. And Charlie's kind of stepped in front of Claire and the baby. Everyone's kind of wanting to know what the hell Danielle's doing there. And then she just tells them that the others are coming.
Yeah. Creepy when she says that.
Yeah.
Very creepy.
Because it's so matter of fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no question. They're coming, and they're coming here.
Danielle is telling them sort of like the story about they were on the island for only, a couple weeks, and then they came for Alex, which is scary because we know they've already tried to come for Claire, who was pregnant. So everyone's sort of putting two and two together that why are the others coming? Well, it's because there's a baby here now all of a sudden. So very scary. She says she saw black smoke. And then they're trying to work on the raft, and all of a sudden, what do they see on the horizon? A pillar of black smoke. Creepy.
It's very creepy. And like, do we ever find out
Why?
why? Like, why would you signal people?
No, I think we find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Okay, I don't recall, unfortunately.
But yeah, I mean, that's terrifying. It's like, because like you said, it's not just Danielle coming and telling them that, but they have this shared experience of what happened when Claire went missing. And I don't know, I was a little disappointed. Like, the only criticism I have of this episode is I feel like we don't get enough of that from Claire and Charlie's perspective, because of all the people there that should be this worked up over it should probably be Claire. And I feel like we just don't get as much of her thought process and feelings.
Didn't really get anything from Claire.
No. And she should be the one most afraid.
100%.
We got more of a reaction of her looking at Russo than what she was saying.
So that's the only place. There's a lot going on in this episode, but the only place I kind of think they kind of like missed their mark was, I think it would have been a good opportunity to kind of show, because since Claire's had this baby, she's done very little other than cut Charlie's hair.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's part of the problem, though. Like, because this episode has so much going on in it, it doesn't make sense. Like, you kind of got to pick and choose like what's relevant, and like I'm sure we'll revisit that in like a late, because I mean the finale's
we saw
2 parts, right? So I feel like we'll probably revisit it like later, and it'll probably be bigger as opposed to right now. The main storyline is more like the raft.
That's true.
We kind of got to wrap.
And I completely get that. I just always feel that they slightly missed the mark on Claire. I think that she could be so much more. And then they struggle, I think, to find exactly the right tone for her character and her involvement.
I see that, because I even feel like when it comes to Claire, we get more about Claire through Charlie,
right?
Which is so wrong on many levels. We can't just have Claire giving her story. It's sort of through the eyes of Charlie, being, whether it's him trying to be Mr. Protective or him screwing up in one way or another. And it's just not really fair that we see her story through him in so many ways. And I think you're right in that they missed the mark on, they couldn't figure out how to do it, which is a little disappointing for storytellers who are very good at storytelling, but they couldn't do that. So it's bizarre.
So I do like what I do like is, despite the recent, I don't know, tension or drama, whatever you want to call it, the second that all of this is starting to hit the fan, we see Jack and Locke walking, and they're essentially, you know, Jack's seeking Locke's counsel on this, or they're working out together, and I really do like to see that. Because at the end of the day, we've established, that we've talked about this numerous times, it's hard for anyone to trust anyone. It's hard to get anything off the ground. And I can understand why Jack doesn't completely trust Locke, and why Locke might not completely trust Jack. But they're both very capable men and individuals. And a lot of people on this island are capable. And I think it's a better idea to try to work together the best you can. So I like to see that they're kind of coming together on some ideas here.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, especially this, where you have this woman coming to the beach and telling them that essentially that there's a group of strangers coming to attack them. She gave them 3 options: hide, run, or die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's pretty horrifying. So they're coming together to see what they could do. And is this when they decide, when Locke says about the explosives?
Well, I think the first thing they decide is that the hatch is the best place to hide.
Right.
Because
right.
I think, you know, you kind of see the wheels turning and people are kind of like, well, running is probably not an option. Dying certainly shouldn't be the option. And she kind of said, like, I can hide. Rousseau says, like, I can hide in the jungle. How are you going to hide 40 people?
Yeah.
And then we kind of get this like cut to the hatch and how we could hide 40 people in the hatch. In theory,
they have
they
no
don't know
idea how
anything
big
about
it
it,
is.
right?
Yeah.
That's the part that like really we're putting so much stock into something you don't know how deep it is. You don't know how thick it is. You don't know anything other than the fact you can't open it from the outside. And you're like, we can put 40 people in here.
Yeah, they just decide this without
There's a
knowing.
man-eating. What if there's a flesh-eating virus in there?
Well, and that's the thing. Like Saeed points that out. Like we'd have no. This could be their hatch for all we know.
That's my favorite thing he said.
Yeah.
Because why isn't that the first thought?
Yeah.
Like you're now, so you find this thing, you know, Ethan's been around, you know about that, you know that he came from somewhere. Mm-hmm. You never figured out where.
Yeah. Could this maybe be it? Right.
And you know there's other people, you know Rousseau's telling you there's other people, and you found a like some sort of infrastructure, and you're like, this is good. So I love that Saeed said that. Like he's like, this could be theirs because it fucking could be.
Exactly.
And, you know, we'll figure out what it is, kind of to an extent, soon enough. But yeah, it's just I get that they're working in the circumstances they have, but Jack's not great at like the long game.
No. And we've said that before. He's very like reactionary and he only sees the problem right in front of him. And that's all he can think about. And he goes like 100% into it.
They also make a lot of assumptions and then act solely based on those assumptions. You're assuming that the hatch is safe for people. You're assuming that it's big enough for 40 people. And so based on these assumptions, you're going to wander off into the jungle and get explosives.
I think the issue is though, like I agree completely. And I think that's what always gets them into trouble. But I also get that like, in a sense, like what other alternative do they have? I just don't know that their thought process is well developed for like the audience. But like, what else are they going to do?
They could split up into smaller groups and spread out.
Yeah.
That's terrifying though.
I mean, you could come up with you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that the only
Why didn't they all go to the Black Rock?
Yeah.
Or why don't they just hide in the caves? I guess Ethan knows about the caves.
Also, they have 5 guns.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that any of this makes more sense than what they're doing. I'm just saying that it doesn't seem to ever be. And even like the scene that bothered me the most in this episode is like, we've talked about a lot. A lot of it is just like the limitations of a show like this. But I do believe truly that if we were actually stranded on a deserted island with 45 people, that there would be certain people that took on leadership roles and just kind of did and there would be certain people that follow. But like, I don't like in this scene, the scene where he's like explaining to the group, like they're going off to get the whatever. And he just kind of says like, I know whatever, it seems scary, but we do have a plan. And I'm like, I would be so annoyed. Like, what's the plan?
What is it?
And do I get to say? Do I get to, like, he just kind of like, we have a plan, sit tight.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what it is. Okay. And we're going to bounce for a couple hours.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
How do I know you're coming back? How do I know that your plan isn't to just leave us here while you guys go hide?
Yeah, that's a good point. Why would they not? I mean, I get it. Like we're in the restrictions of a television show, but I would have been annoyed as well. Like
100%.
I'd like to know the plan.
Yeah, for my life, please.
I mean, Arts seems to know everything because Hurley speaks it. I will not repeat what Arts said because it was really rude. But so it stands to reason, I guess maybe they do know the plan.
It's hard to say.
But yeah, who knows? It's weird.
It just is like there's so many
So what is the plan?
variables.
I mean, we know they're going to try to put them in the hatch, but they got to blow it up. So they got to go to the Black Rock to get the dynamite. And Arzt, it's really hard to say.
It is. Leslie. Let's just call him Leslie.
Leslie Arzt says he has to be the one there because he's a science teacher and he knows how to handle chemical explosives or whatever. A little presumptuous, but.
It is. I mean, like, guy, you're just really just forcing your way in here and then eventually runs off because he's
yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
very funny.
But I agree. It was nice to see different locales on the island.
Yeah.
On that little trek. That was really cool.
But again, why were they just walking in a straight line when it's flat? You guys are not speaking the hours it takes to get there.
Maybe they were, and they just had to take a break from speaking because they were all speaking.
And then they were like, everyone get in a line.
Maybe it just happened naturally.
Well,
You can't have all the answers, Teresa.
I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense that they would just Aunt March it all the way to, like, it's weird. It's weird. I don't walk like that when I'm in a group of people.
I always do.
No, you don't.
So
Anyway.
what do we feel? So what do we feel about this plan in general?
It's dangerous and it's dumb.
I think it's a good, I think they're using the others coming as a good excuse to try to figure out what's in the hatch. It's like, oh, sweet, we can accelerate our plans here and use the excuse that these people are coming to go get some dynamite to blow it up.
So this is my other question. Mm-hmm. They're going to blow the hatch up and then just go inside of it.
Yeah.
And there'll be no way to close it again.
That's what I was going to say. Like, riddle me this. You blew the door open.
Yeah, what are they?
You know, patch it up with like...
They're just going to hope that no one else finds it and wants to go inside either.
This plan is not well thought out.
No,
Also,
but that's what I mean.
They've
Like,
exposed it.
Yeah,
like,
they can't
bury
unbury
it again. Like, oh my God, you guys, there's this giant hatch and the thing is blown open. You think they're inside? Probably. That's not a good hiding spot, you
no,
guys.
not at all.
You're all in one place now. In a small, likely contained area.
So, okay, Amanda's got something to say.
No, I was just going to say, like, I don't want to miss out on how fucking rude it is that Art says you shouldn't tell the fat guy something.
I know.
That was unnecessary.
I know. It was awful.
We shouldn't tell you anything, Arts, because you're an asshole.
So, okay,
that.
so I don't want to spend this episode just pointing out all the terrible things people do, but another kind of weird, I don't know, way they went about this was getting that damn raft into the water.
Really? Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, like, it makes sense, like, they have to do it that way or whatever, but, like, it clearly wasn't discussed, and I know they had to move up the timeline, but it clearly wasn't discussed that well, and no one really knows what they're doing, and it leads to it breaking in parts.
Which, by the way, again, a lot of faith in this raft that breaks when you move it.
But the raft breaking does lead to a very important scene.
What scene is that?
And I'll never stop enjoying watching these scenes with Teresa and IRL.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, Teresa.
So Sawyer clearly feels responsible because they're all saying it's kind of his fault. So he decides to take it onto his own hands to fix what's
the
broken.
mast. He's going to get a new mast.
What a responsible young man.
Such a responsible man. And it led to shirtless Sawyer in the jungle.
Chopping, quite sweaty. And can I just say, the look on Teresa's face when I looked over to see her was that of someone who is thirsty.
You know what, guys? It's three best friends in a room. They like Lost. They will also provide a little discretion when people are watching the show. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fine. Like we're thinking it. We're just not reacting so viscerally to it.
This is how we ended up with this stream of consciousness, right? Because I can't not react.
No, but I just, okay, all joking aside about it, yeah, obviously it's a great scene. But I just also think that it shows how far this is a good episode to kind of do like a character check-in.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Because Sawyer 20 episodes ago would have been like, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't do it.
But even, I mean, I think that's what the point of the flashback is, though, right? To see like where they were right before they got there and where they are now. And like, he was like, I don't care.
He's being banned from Australia.
Yeah.
That is such an excellent point, and I think you're exactly right, because that takes Sawyer's, for example. We're showing his scene is he's at the police station. He's been picked up for some like bar fight or whatever, and we know Sawyer's troubled and he's angry and he's full of a bunch of just whatever.
Takes no responsibility.
Takes no responsibility, shirks responsibility, and on top of that, he's told essentially by this police officer or whoever it is that he's so useless and worthless that it's not even worth them to incarcerate him.
That was harsh.
It was super harsh.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, is what Sawyer's fears are, which is that he's just an angry guy who can never take responsibility and who isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
And then cut to, Sawyer now on the island, he is worth something. He is useful. Still kind of angry.
A little angry still.
But he is worth something to them. He's contributing to them. He's helpful to them. And what that leads to is my favorite scene in the whole episode, which is when Jack comes to say goodbye and give him the gun. And Sawyer had the opportunity to tell Jack that story about his dad a few episodes ago, and he chose not to. And in this moment, you can kind of see the wheels turning in, and he decides to tell him it. And not only is it beautiful that he decided to tell him it, but the way he told it was, I was bawling.
It could only have been told by Sawyer.
Yes.
I mean, obviously because he was on there, but the way he says it, like you said, it's just perfect.
So impactful too. Like you can see like the minute Jack realizes what he's saying.
Because even just like his Sawyerisms of like his witty Southern, euphemisms, it encapsulates sort of all the emotions and the feelings that Jack is feeling. It's like that thing about, you beat down a dog enough, he's going to question what he's done. And Jack's feeling that my dad was shitty to me my whole life. So obviously I'm going to blame myself from now on.
Yeah.
But the way it was told was so well done.
Yeah. That's one of the most poignant moments. And like you said, I think it's more meaningful than it ever could be because of who it's coming from. And the fact that, how he says it is so perfectly, despite how different these two men are, and despite how many challenges they've had and fights, and holy heck, they've come on a journey as well. That whole scene is beautiful because Jack giving Sawyer a gun to start with shows a level of trust in him that he did not have even probably 15 days ago.
Totally.
Even leaving the island in the beginning of the show, Jack would have never given him a gun.
No.
Ever. So the fact that he was willing to do that is Jack's version of like an olive branch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Sawyer's is being kind of emotionally vulnerable. And because he doesn't like the touchy-feely stuff.
He hates it.
But he knew in that moment how much it was going to mean to Jack. And that in case he never sees him again, or he dies or whatever happens, he needed Jack to know that his dad felt these things. And I literally cry through it. I've seen it 12 times and I cry every time.
I did too.
Me too.
Yeah. And it was perfect. I love that scene. It's one of the best in the whole series.
And like my favorite line in it is when he says, something tells me he never got around to making that call.
Yeah.
Because I think Sawyer can recognize in Jack that there's still something broken that could have been healed by that conversation.
Yeah.
So he knows it never happened.
Goosebumps. Such a good episode for this.
I love these like closeout pieces that we start getting in this episode because it is the finale or the first of the finales. And you do get these characters who come together who weren't, well, not necessarily, because you get Sun and Jin, you get a good moment between Sun and Jin, you get, the Jack and Sawyer. The one that's missing is Sawyer and Kate. They don't get their moment.
No.
Why do you think that is?
Well, for a couple of reasons. The first is I think they kind of almost got their moment at the end of last episode. Not that it was a good moment, but I'm not sure that Sawyer and Kate are ready for a good moment.
Yeah.
I think Sawyer doesn't want to say goodbye to her in the same way. And I think he kind of did yesterday when he said to her that there was no reason to stay on the island. So you didn't really get anything kind of good from that. But it is these kind of beautiful moments, kind of peppered in with like seeing what they're kind of doing on the island. But yeah, Sawyer and Kate didn't really, and I do wonder sometimes if it's that Sawyer and Jack being at peace with each other is almost more important.
Yeah.
Than Sawyer and Kate.
Because like you say, they had that interaction by the fire when Kate kind of, they kind of screwed with each other in that moment. But
yeah. For me, I think it's that, I really like that noise, by the way, is that, I mean, Kate could have gone to see him at any point because Jack did, right? Like,
oh yeah, that's true.
So a part of me is like, for her, she could have gone to do it and then didn't, and just assumed that he would be the one to like come to her. And then for him, he was off doing like, I kind of took it as he's not really like bound by like these women anymore. Like he's off doing something of worth to like everybody else and not just like his penis. He's, but yeah, she could have gone to see him. Jack did it right before they left.
That's true. I forgot about that. Didn't make that connection.
Yeah. So the next kind of big piece of flashback / whatever is Kate.
Wait,
What?
Did anyone else find it weird that Sawyer headbutted a minister of the Australian government? Like, that was random, right? Did they just need a reason to deport him?
Probably.
But like, I thought that was random. Does that ever come back in any way, shape, or
I
form?
don't think
I
so.
have no idea, to be honest.
All right.
It's a pretty important person to headbutt
Yeah, like, how was he in a bar,
in the same bar.
same bar as someone who's like one of the top ministers of the country? That
Hey,
was weird.
ministers are people too. Okay, they
Are
go
they?
to. They go to.
But I feel like Sawyer's the kind of
Bars.
person who goes to like the creepy, like dingy ones.
Well, I guess some
The
ministers do.
The ones
That's true.
with the velour.
I think that probably
Velour.
adds to the theory of why they were there.
Sawyer does like his velour.
We did kind of. Did we gloss over at? Oh,
Did we gloss over Jack's airport flashback?
with
We did. We didn't
Anna
talk
Lucia.
about it.
Did we know that's her name yet?
Yes, they introduce each
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anna Lucia. Okay.
Yeah. So
Played by the venerable Michelle Rodriguez.
This is my problem with shows like this, though,
okay.
is when you have people with big enough names that you recognize them, there's always the assumption that they're going to be longer than the clip.
Not sure how big Michelle Rodriguez was back then. Was she?
I don't think so.
I think the Fast and Furious movies had already come out, no?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of them had.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because like Julie, what is her name?
Julie Bowen.
Yeah, so like Modern Family had not come out.
No. But she had. She did. She was on Ed.
Yeah, but based on our conversation, a lot of us didn't remember Ed.
No.
Okay, well, that's a sad thing for you guys. I remember Carol.
2001 was
Yeah.
the first Fast and Furious.
And that's kind of the problem with stuff like that. It's kind of like when you watch, excuse me, like Law and Order SVU.
Right.
Every time I see that one of the characters is like a known name,
Okay.
I know that person is either did it
Yeah.
or has the emotional range to carry the hard part of it, but they probably did it.
Yes. No, for sure. Yes. I think she was famous enough that we know that her character is going to somehow resurface at some point in some way.
Yes.
But it was a cute little. I don't really like Michelle Rodriguez that much, but I love her voice. And so it was a cute little thing. It also gave us a little bit of a glimpse into the fact that he's not married anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We learned she was like kind of hitting on him and then had to take a phone call.
Yeah.
And then
That was
they
interesting.
promised they'd have the next drink on the plane. And I guess that never happened.
Yes, that never happened. Yeah. So that was kind of
So what happened to her, I wonder? Dead at the bottom of the ocean?
dead at the bottom of the ocean. And something that Jack probably also regrets. So yeah. And then we have Kate and the Marshal. And I'm sorry,
I hate
Kate
this scene.
is a lot of things, as you know, I think, but that Marshal is so unprofessional.
He's such a
I
douche.
hated that scene.
Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
so bad.
It was too long.
A, yeah, it was too long. B, the poor border guard just asked, why did you need 5 guns? Not an invitation to go into this huge monologue story about Kate's deeds. We didn't need that exposition.
No.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
We didn't need it at that moment, and we certainly didn't need it that way.
It's kind of funny that it happened though, because we essentially did that ourselves at the end of last week's episode.
But that's why it's not necessary.
Yeah. Because you can figure, because he essentially explained what we tried to
Yeah,
figure
we
out
just
ourselves.
saw.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so painful about it is like the show makes you think about all these things. And then in the next episode, it's like, in case you're wondering if you're right or wrong, let me tell you everything right now. It's just not necessary.
And yeah, like he was just being a total dick, like very unprofessional, very awful. But also, why was Kate calling him
I know.
at his home? That was
the
weird.
one.
That was odd.
I mean, if you want to tell us that part, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to know that because we never saw that before.
But maybe, like, shh, Marshall, and just tell us she's been calling me. And we go, why? And then we're done.
Yeah, I agree. Very strange.
So Kate's very.
Bizarre.
Kate is under lock and key.
Yeah, for now.
But again, the 5 guns. Someone explain to me the 5 guns.
Yeah, I still don't think he needs 5 guns.
He has 2 hands.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't get that either.
What's he shooting with?
I guess maybe he thinks that she'll steal some of them or she'll whatever.
Yeah, because he was very like, you want to tell him why I need 5 guns, Kate?
Could she? Could someone?
I mean, she's very resourceful. I will give you that.
But 5 guns is overkill.
And they're in a case.
And a Halliburton, you know how hard those are to open?
Yes, we do know.
We've tried. Cliffs. I think someone.
Rocks.
Yeah, like it's so hard. Come on.
No, that was one of the missteps of the episode, in my opinion.
I can.
Yeah, that whole thing. And like, it does make it a little bit nicer, or a little bit more meaningful that Kate went out of her way to save his life on the plane, because like he's such an asshole.
I suppose.
Right? Like,
yeah, I suppose.
But I don't know if that was anything to do with anything, but
When she put his mask on?
yeah.
Well, yeah, the oxygen mask.
Yeah.
Before her own, which you're not supposed to do. Or did she do her own first?
She did her.
Okay, good. I hope so. Because that's what they tell you to do.
I think she put her own first.
Attach
and then
yours
his.
first. Yeah. Yeah, and then we get, Shannon and Boone.
She is a horrible person.
Ooh, hated that scene, but not the same reason I hated Kate's scene. I hated it because it was just like, oh my God, she's awful.
It was nice to see Boone again quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't expecting that.
I forgot too.
That.
Yeah.
Getting another little glimpse of Ian Somerhalder is never a bad thing.
No, I'll take it any day.
But very cute. She's a psychopath.
Totally a psychopath.
What is that?
But again, okay, perfect though, how far she's come.
Yeah.
Because in this episode, like, you feel horrible for Shannon. And like the emotions that she's going through, you're feeling on so many levels.
Yeah. And like, she's such a good actress, which helps. But it shows how far she's come, both to be open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
But also, now she's, I mean, I don't know if you can refer to it as dating in their circumstances, but she's doing something with Saeed. And 45 days ago, she was selling him out to airport staff, right?
Saying
So
that
like,
the only way she could describe him,
I don't know, Arab?
like,
I was just like, you're awful.
but yeah, I really do think Teresa nailed it on the head that we're supposed to see exactly how far they've come from them at their lowest moments to now.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when this happens, but we get the first kind of what I call like a mini goodbye, which is Jack and the BlackRock crew having to say goodbye to the raft people because they know they're not going to be back in time.
Yeah.
And so that's very nice. These are beautiful moments that I love. There's lots of goodbyes and hellos on Lost.
Yeah.
And I always find them to be very, very beautiful. Funny story. Back in the day, I don't know if they still would have this because the fandom's obviously cooled a bit in the last 10 years. But there used to be these YouTube compilations of all the reunions when people like ran back into each other. And I used to just watch these compilations on YouTube set to music.
She really did.
I really did.
She would like send me them and be like, look what I found.
Look at how beautiful this is.
I don't need to see this again and again and again.
So I always love those moments, but they say goodbye and then they head off to the Black Rock.
We get that Black Rock moment. Oh, and okay, so we kind of talked about them on the track, and then Art's kind of, fucks off. And then that sound he's making when he's coming back, I was very confused.
I was like, what is that?
I did not know.
I didn't know what was happening either.
I didn't care for it.
But then
Followed by.
we get the monster.
I
So
haven't seen that pup in a while.
no, they had to bring him back for and we get some sort of explanation, kind of, from Rousseau saying it's a security system.
For the island.
So
I liked that.
what does that mean?
Like the smoke monster?
Yeah.
I loved that description. I have a note of that actually,
Yeah.
that I loved that she described it that way.
Why?
Because doesn't that kind of make sense?
Does it?
Well,
Right
think
now.
about any time that the monster smoke, whatever you want to call it, appears.
I don't know, you guys.
Smoke monster being a security system
To protect the island.
to protect the island.
That of any security system to protect the island. Well,
Yeah.
to protect something.
Yeah.
Kate, to protect what?
To protect the island. So what does that mean then?
Yeah.
Like truly.
Well, I mean, okay, so if we're watching this for the first time, or if we're in Kate's shoes, or the survivor's shoes, they're thinking something along the lines of, no one can find us. This island is fucking weird because there's A, a polar bear, B, a big monster that looks and rips up trees. And there's a woman who got stuck on it 16 years ago, has said some really freaky things about it. People have heard whispers. So yeah, when they hear something like it's a security system to protect the island, I would be like, what else is on this island that needs protecting?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I would think about that.
Exactly. Like, and are they, because what we've seen so far doesn't make you think it's protecting the island.
No, it makes you seem like it's randomly attacking.
Yeah.
So who knows?
But I still really do like the way that's described, because it's interesting to think about, because it's not always present.
No,
right?
We went a long ways without seeing it.
And it doesn't always come out to play.
It's been a while, actually.
It has, yeah.
The idea that it has some sort of purpose makes sense to me. And I like that Danielle said that. It did.
And it kind of confuses me, because when Saeed was in her lair there, and she says there's no such thing as monsters. But is that because she thinks of this thing as just a security system? She knows maybe. It's not a monster, right? Because at the time we're like, has she never seen the monster or heard it? But she has. She's just sort of figured it out in her mind, at least, of what it is, and it's not a monster.
Agreed.
I don't know. The whole thing is weird. It's creepy weird. And a part of me is like, is it protecting the island from the fact that they're going to go get explosives? And are very like open about that they're going to blow something up? But
it didn't like follow them. It went the other way. It was like it was just doing a patrol or something.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And if anything, it chased Arts.
Yeah.
Right?
Like he ran away because he heard
when Arts went away from them.
And then was plotting back, being like...
Yeah.
Intriguing. So there was some manipulation going on there, perhaps.
So we kind of touched upon it a bit, but I would like to touch upon it a little bit more, because it's kind of ties into Shannon's on-island versus off-island persona. So we see her being a psychopath outside and how far she's come and how sad she is about Boone. But the piece of it is also that Vincent. So Walt gives her Vincent.
That was so sweet.
And him explaining why, and that how Vincent took care of him when his mom died, and he was able to talk to him.
Yeah.
When no one else would talk to him, and saying that she could maybe talk to him about Boone was so sweet. And just...
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment. And when Vincent tries to swim after the raft.
God.
Oh, yeah, that was... And then he just turns around. So cute.
He's the goodest boy.
The goodest boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that hard one to watch. That goodbye scene is hard, though, in general. And we'll talk more about that. But the Black Rock is a ship.
Yeah, didn't see that coming. Like, I mean, I knew it now, having seen it, but when I first watched, I sure as hell didn't see that coming.
Nope.
I thought it was a legit Black Rock.
Yep. Yep.
I think everyone did.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. We'll have to ask Dan, even though he's not coming to do a hot take for this one. Yeah. We'll have to ask him what he thought about that reveal.
And it was just so cool. Like,
it is cool.
It was so cool. That's the reveal, because it's so out of left field, and it looked really, really cool.
Yeah,
and that's all we see of it, though.
Yeah, that's all we're kind of left. Their little adventure to get Dynamite's not well fulfilling. Not that well.
No, they don't really do too much. They get there in this episode. That's it. Yeah. So
because I do think this one is more about
the raft, guys.
It's more about the raft. It's more about everyone saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Which leads to, honestly, we should vote on social media. We're going to put a poll up for this episode. Which is more emotionally poignant to you? The Jack Sawyer conversation or the Sun and Jin conversation? Because that was beautiful hurt. When she had made him a list of words. And I still thought, when I first watched it, and even a little bit now, even though I know what's going to happen, that he was going to push back more. And again, on island versus off island, Jin was so closed off and so angry. And now, without even really having to be pushed that significantly, he just opens the fuck up to her and says sorry and is like an emotional mess.
Are we allowed to say what we think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the Sun Jin one was more emotional to me and way more powerful.
Same.
And it's not just because I know where their story goes. It was just so beautiful because, like you say, it does come kind of out of left field how much he opens up, and you finally hear why it is that he's sort of been closed off to her those last few days, or ever since he found out she spoke English. And he's just realized and taken this time to do so much thinking and reflecting, and he sincerely wants to change and make a life for him and son.
Yeah. And for him to say that he thinks that he has to go because this is his punishment
it's awful.
for how he's treated her and how he's made her suffer, is like, it's just also a level of like, I don't want to see him torture himself because we've seen it from both sides. He obviously felt like he was doing what he had to do. Yes, he was difficult. Yes, he was wrong. But he's not a bad guy.
No.
So I don't want to see him like
Distraught.
Yeah. But I do like the kind of level of self-awareness that we're seeing where he's like, I'm wrong. I was wrong. I treated you badly and I'm going to fix it. And then her just kind of breaking down about loving him and stuff. Right.
It's so beautiful.
And that list, that was so cute.
So cute. And that scene could have been, they both could push harder if they wanted to. He could still, and what we've seen in them isn't that surprising. He could still be stubborn and closed off. She could be more punitive and shut down on him. But instead, in just that one moment, they both just fixed a lot right there. And then they shared that beautiful kiss.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I don't consider myself like a sucker for that kind of stuff, but holy shit, was that cute.
I was looking for them because they kiss and it cuts away to the big group scene because they're about to leave. And I'm like, I don't see them. Where are they?
I know.
Yeah.
Which then leads to the cutaway to the big group scene.
Okay, I missed this when I missed the beginning. For some reason, I must have been elsewhere in thought. The beginning of the message in a bottle thing. Why is Charlie starting this?
I don't remember where that came from either.
Oh, Teresa?
I mean, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it just like... because Locke says, oh, that's a good idea, but doesn't put anything in it. He's like, yeah, cute. Walks away.
It's supposed to be for their like loved ones because the assumption I think is that they're going to go home and then they'll have all these messages and at least they'll be like waterproof, I think. I'm trying to just find it.
Hurley is kind of funny. Don't look at it, dude. And then Charlie just goes to look at it. Like, Charlie's
such a dick.
Yeah. Like, ugh.
Yeah, he's definitely got his moments.
I mean, I do find it interesting that like for this first episode, who we're getting glimpses of and who we're not. Because, like, it's a pretty big cast. And so, like, Charlie and Claire, nothing yet. Hurley, nothing yet. Saeed, nothing yet. So it'll be interesting to see, like, I mean, my assumption is we'll get to see how far they've come, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because right now Charlie is reminding me that he's kind of a douche, but he's kind of sweet. Like, it's very... I've always had mixed feelings.
Self-awareness.
Exactly.
Like...
I'm always so back and forth on Charlie because he's so sweet, but sometimes it's just too much. Like, he's too much.
So it is beautiful, though, watching them all kind of coming, like, getting ready to go. And even, like, when Charlie hands Sawyer the bottle.
Yeah, they share this look.
This look. And the reality is, what I also like about this is people are making strides. They're changing. They're becoming a little bit more open. But they're not all changing perfectly overnight. Like, Sawyer is still Sawyer at his core. And, you know, he's not going to start sobbing and hugging all of them.
No, exactly.
He's going to do things like make sure Jack knows that story. And he's going to share that look with Charlie and that kind of stuff. And it's very lovely to watch.
The Michael son awkward handshake,
Hug.
high five, flush, tried to do a hug. Very awkward.
I hate their interactions. They're so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm glad that they've kind of like stepped away from that kind of...
that was not going well.
No.
That like almost love triangle.
Yeah, I'm glad they did too. But and I mean, like, it's sort of... Oh, wait, I have to say how rude those people were in the airport about Sun and Jin.
Next level.
Oh.
That was weird. Like,
I just assume because people are speaking a different language that they don't also speak English. Like, I don't know, she does.
Exactly.
It's horrifying.
No kidding.
Happens all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
You should never make assumptions about people and their backgrounds and what they know and everything like that.
People talk about me in Tagalog all the time.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You
like right in front of me.
What?
Yeah. And I just feel like, oh, here we go. Just keep your rude comments to yourself, man.
Yeah. But very emotional. We already talked a little bit about the Vincent thing, but just in general, watching them kind of sail off is like, you know, and they're all pushing and they're cheering.
Yeah, cheering,
and the sail
mast
comes
goes
up and
Already got a hole in it.
I don't know.
No, it's supposed to have a hole.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just the best piece of material they
I
could
don't
get.
know anything
No,
about
I think they're supposed to have holes so that it doesn't like push so hard that it rips it apart.
Oh, okay. I know nothing
how-
about sailing. We'll get
me
Kate.
neither.
Kate seems to know the most. So.
Kate sailed for 2 years or something, she says.
She's like, I J-boat.
But it's beautiful. It's so nice too because like you have that hope,
Yes.
No.
right?
I mean, they do. I don't.
Teresa.
So-
No, but in that moment you can't help but feel hopeful because you can see the hope in their faces.
They have
It's
hope.
palpable.
The music is trying to give me hope. I have no hope because it's still a man-made raft. In
I
the
do.
ocean.
I felt it. I
I felt the hope, and I felt that even if I don't really feel it, I want to feel it.
Exactly.
Okay,
And
that's
sometimes
it, yeah.
when you've been on an island for 45 days,
You just want
that's
to
enough,
feel it.
baby.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. But what else? I really want to talk about Walt again when we get to the next episode and his whole, like, we have to go, Dad. And like how he clearly thinks something bad is about to happen to them on the island and then they need to be off the island. And whether or not that's going to be the others or something different. And
One
we'll
thing
see.
I wanted to say about Shannon and Walt that I forgot to mention is I like that throughout the whole thing, she's very selfish. She's like, take. And then when she is given Walt, or what's the dog, Vincent, instead of just being like, yeah, I'll take him. First of all, she's obviously like, kind of like, are you sure? Mm-hmm. But then she says, you can have him back.
Yeah.
When they
Only
save
until
us.
we get you rescue us. That was so
She wasn't
sweet.
like, yeah, he's mine now.
No,
She was very
exactly.
much like, he'll keep me company and I'll watch him for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
that
would
was
not
nice.
be a Shannon thing before.
No.
No, she would never volunteer to do anything. Like having a dog is not the easiest.
And you saw her help push, like she was helping to push the raft. Like she's come a long way.
Yes, she has. Shannon has more character development than I think a lot of people give her credit for.
I agree. 100%. Yeah.
Well, especially in the last few episodes. Like, I know even with like her and Saeed's kind of like pushing her to like help out with the translation and stuff. But like, especially with Boone being gone, it would be so easy for her to Charlie it up. Like,
Charlie it up.
remember when Claire left and he was just kind of like,
Oh, yes.
he was just like a lump for a really long time and Rose kind of got him out of it. Like, you can see that it's very recent and like, we know that Boone's not coming back. He's dead.
Yeah.
Claire could have come back. We didn't know. She just went missing, right? Mm-hmm. But like, Shannon is so willing to like help, and that's not her. Like,
Yeah.
we saw it so many times where she's just lying on the beach trying to work on her tan while everybody's cleaning up, and now she's pushing a raft. We're not gonna call it a boat. It's a raft. Now she's pushing a raft that she has nothing to do with. She's taking care of a dog, which is more responsibility than she's ever had on this island. Like,
It's tough. Like,
except for that time that you did that thing, Shannon. You know what you did.
some people just can't. They have never had tough enough circumstances or bad enough things happen, or not that everyone should have bad things happen to them to like, grow, but there needs to be some sort of challenge in life and strife in life, because that's really when you, I think, learn who you are and how you want to be and how you want to react to things and the type of person you want to be. And she never had that.
No.
Right. The worst was that she got cut off from her like millions of dollars, but Boone just still always ended up giving her some of it.
Exactly.
Like, and her dad dying was unfortunate, but like,
But she was so young that I think.
yeah, I don't think it shaped her in the same way. Right. But she's now being pushed to be the best version of herself. And like, I don't know, she's kind of stepping up.
I think so, because
Right?
she's alone for the first time in her life. Really,
Yeah.
yes, okay, Saeed is there, but I don't think in the same way she's felt before that she's had someone there. So she's alone. She doesn't have Boone. She knows she's never going to have Boone again,
Which is rough.
and she has Saeed in the sense of like, yeah, they're kind of like interested, but that's taken a back seat for once in her life. She realizes like the love interest isn't the main priority for her. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, she's finally. I'm alone. I'm going to have to step up a little bit. And she does. I agree.
Very proud of her.
I agree. And then they're off.
They're off. And holy shit, is so hopeful and beautiful. And then kaboom.
And you know
Black
what?
smoke.
I hate that scene.
I felt it was awkward.
It didn't fit.
It really didn't. It was like, They just had to throw it in to remind everybody, I feel like. Not that we needed it, but I think they felt we needed to be reminded of the black smoke.
I agree.
Because it wasn't even like a clean cut. It was just sort of like the same scene just replayed.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
And it just like, it's so emotional. It's so hopeful. And like, whatever, like, I'm not saying we always have to end on a hopeful note, but like the emotional resonance is lost when you just kind of glimpse this like clearly B stock footage, like
it would
smoke
have been
thing. Like we get it. The smoke's coming.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot more effective to have the people on the boat turn, like looking at the people,
and
then the camera
see
go around to them still saying goodbye and then seeing the smoke.
Oh, that'd been nice.
That would have been better,
nicely
because then you
done.
have the hope, and then you're like, oh shit, we've left them to die. You know what I mean? Like,
Phew, at least we're on this ocean. Safe and sound.
we're also gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. But you know what I mean? Like, that would have been more effective than this like cut of like,
It was awkward.
yeah, and it felt like misplaced, and then you're just kind of like brought so abruptly out of the like hope.
I wonder if that was like a network decision,
Probably.
because it doesn't feel like it
The
doesn't.
Damon and
No, and it certainly
Carlton
doesn't
decision.
fit with the rest of
And
the
it doesn't feel like
episode.
Jack Bender either.
No, it was way too.
Jack was clearly not involved in that
No,
decision.
I don't think so.
He would never done it
It's
that
not
way.
a Jack move.
It was very like sloppy. It like
Sloppy.
It didn't fit, and like it wasn't very seamless.
No, wasn't seamless. Was sloppy. Not a Jack move. Thanks a lot, ABC.
Thanks a lot.
But also thanks a lot for spending all that money on the pilot so that we could get to this point.
All right.
It's a lot of money.
I think it's time for the rankings.
Rankings.
You were gonna sing, Hess? Is that what you
No.
had?
Because I remember we don't do a rankings one.
Don't sing for rankings.
All right. So I was torn as to whether or not I should put Boone back for this one episode. No. I did not. The other thing is Russo was in this episode a lot.
Yeah.
So for fun, I included her in the rankings just to see where she would fit based on the one episode.
Oh.
Well, and I'll give our honorary at the end as per usual. So at number 14, because remember, let's put Russo in just for today. At number 14 is Michael, negative 1,430. Shannon, negative 1,005. Kate, negative 405. Russo at number 11 with 100. Walt, 190. Sawyer, Jin and Sawyer tied with 605. Then we have Saeed with 610, Claire with 630, Locke with 795, Charlie with 935, Jack with 1,050, Hurley with 1,110, and our queen, San Hua Quan with 1,220.
Back on top, baby.
But the real MVP of this episode, the one who really got us right in the feels, is our honorary top spot, Vincent the Doggo.
Oh yeah.
Vincent.
The goodest boy.
The goodest boy.
The goodest boy.
Wow. Alrighty. Thank you, Teresa.
That was a nice alrighty. Can I just say that was a very deep.
I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. No, 8.9 out of 10. I don't want it to crack the 9 quite yet.
Okay.
So 8.9. That Kate flashback scene really felt awful to me, and that weird cut at the end it took away, in my opinion. And so I'm going to go with an 8.9. But like those two things aren't enough to drown out the rest of the amazingness of this episode. 8.9.
Herskinoons?
Oh, okay. I'll do 8.9 as well. I love all of the. I just really, I think Teresa really framed it well when she said we're getting a glimpse of who they are and how far they've come. I love that being the way we see it. I think everyone has come a long way. And I think it's very emotional to kind of be at this precipice for everyone. The raft leaving, plus this idea that they're about to be attacked or whatever, kind of leaves you on this kind of emotional high. And we're going to see where it takes us. And I love episodes that do that. So that's where I'm at.
Mine, surprisingly, is a 9.4.
Wow. Whoa.
Oh, weird. I agree. I hated that last scene. I think if you replace it with the scene that I just wrote, it would be 1,000 times better.
That'd be a 10 out of 10.
It would be so much better. I also really hated Kate's flashback. That guy was just, it was just so, like, it just didn't fit properly in the episode, with him being such a douche. Everybody else's flashback was so short, and it was just so long, and it was terrible, and it was not useful. That being said, I love storytelling this way. I love when you get to see where people have gone and where people have ended up, and I love that we're doing it in a consistent way, that we've been doing it through the entire season through flashbacks. I think that they're very effective. I loved the realization when you realize it's an everyone episode, and it's not just, it's not a Wald episode, it's not a whatever. I loved I know that I was saying like everybody's gonna die, but really there is hope in, as much as I don't have any hope on the raft, I do have hope in their relationships, and I think that's more important. And I think that's what I took away from it most, is that the relationships can succeed. And I don't care about the raft, but I like that where we've left off, and that's, like I said, my favorite kind of storytelling.
Nice. Thank you. And thank you everybody for listening and tuning in once again. We are down to the wire. We're going to be doing the finale next, so join us for one more week and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Subscribe, like, and give us a review if you would so be inclined. Email us at letsgetlostpod@gmail.com with any feedback and or comments. And please like us on all our social medias. Let's Get Lost.pod. Thanks for listening. Bye.